Hello to all my booty seekers and cheek chasers. This is the Carpe Natem Podcast. I'm your host, Nate Hoya-Reynoso, and I am so grateful you are listening to this episode. If you're new here, you should know that I believe that my purpose is to uplift, inspire, and educate others to communicate masterfully so that they can better understand themselves and the world around them. I've spent years in the personal development and transformational technology space, and I want to share with you the wisdom that was passed down to me from giants in the industry. So if you're on a journey of self-mastery like me, looking to make dreams a reality and willing to be a leader for your family and community, then join me in seizing the butt cheeks of life and giving them a big ol' squeeze. Let's jump into the show. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Carpe Natem Podcast. I'm your host, Nate Hoya-Reynoso, but you already knew that. That's why you're listening to this episode. It's amazing how now that I have momentum on this podcast, now that I have an amazing editor who's been doing a lot of editing behind the scenes. He's been making promos, flyers. I'm putting it out there in the world. This podcast has really taken off. I'm proud to say that we have over 100 downloads by the time this episode comes out. And I know to some people, 100 downloads ain't shit. I don't care. I'm proud of myself. I am my own biggest cheerleader. And the fact that 100 is more than a single download, I'm super grateful. And if it was just one single download, I'd still be super grateful. That's the thing is like, I'm doing this for the love of the game because I want to grow as a person, because I want to be able to help others. And I can honestly feel my rant muscle getting stronger and stronger every time I hop on this podcast. I just get real hyped up. I get a ton of energy. I think about what I want to say to an audience, and having a mental image of somebody in front of me, or maybe even an audience in front of me, genuinely helps with what I'm going to say. Funny enough, I have no idea what I'm going to say. We're 18 episodes in. I've had tons of interviews, and I kind of want to talk about the process of doing these podcasts, because as time goes on and as the show develops, the range of people that I will have on this show will grow. And even though I want to be in the motivation, inspirational, personal development field, because I'm also a comedian, because of the style comedy that I do very blue room comedy. I enjoy people who are contrarians. I enjoy people who like stirring the pot. I enjoy watching people, make a mess of themselves, fuck things up, kind of take a monkey wrench to the system. I would never participate in those behaviors because I like aiding and helping and building and growing. But I know that not everybody's going to have that same sentiment. Everybody has their own personal path. Everyone has their own way of thinking. And the more that I get to interview people, the more I can see who here is truly ego-driven, who here is doing things like comedy or following their passions for the wrong reasons. It might not even be just comedy. Like, I know people who are musicians who are following it for the idea that one day they'll make it famous, they'll be rich, and that's when they'll be happy. I see a lot of performing artists who are in their game or who are in their profession for the love of it, for the true passion to make music as their full-time career or comedy as their full-time career. My heart goes out to them because they are really doing it as you should, or as I believe you should. Again, everyone has their own viewpoints on what's right and what's wrong. I see these people who are doing these things for the love of the game more successful and more grounded and have more integrity than the people who are doing it for the fame, the notoriety, the clout. A lot of people that I come across nowadays are incredibly ego-driven, and I kind of get a little sad to know that people that I somewhat associate with kind of have this poisonous type thinking that's really dragging them down. And maybe they're not aware of their behaviors, or maybe they are aware of the behaviors and they're just leaning into it, which again, I support, I admire. I'm here not to judge anyone, but just to comment on the world around me. And that's my comedy style as well. Like it's observational comedy. It's looking at things from a silly perspective, rewording some phrases to sound a certain way. I love play on words. I love good puns. I love jokes where the takeaway or the punchline is completely unexpected, and it's almost like you almost don't want to laugh. Like a joke, sometimes I'll say certain jokes that will make an audience like flinch more than it'll make them laugh because they want to laugh. And I love comedy like that. I love how comedy is able to push the boundaries of what's okay. And, speaking of comedy in the comedy world, there was an incident at the award show where the same people circle jerk each other. I don't care. At one of these award events, we had an incident where Will Smith attacked Chris Rock for telling a joke. Now, I would never condone violence against speech because I believe speech should be free. I believe that everyone should have freedom of speech. Now, that doesn't mean that there is no such thing as freedom of consequence. So people can say whatever they want if they choose to have an opinion and stand by it. And maybe that opinion is rooted in racism or hatred or separatism or whatever it may be. If you choose to have that thought, I am in support of you to exercise that ability of freedom of speech because I know who I don't fuck with, okay? If you're saying things like black people should be eradicated off the world or off the face of the planet, if Latinos should be all hung like pigs, if Asians should be killed at the stake, any type of statement like that, even if it's I do this for all parties. If a brown person says, death to all white people, that to me is a clear sign of maybe I shouldn't fuck with you. But thank you for stating that out loud so that way the rest of the world can identify you as somebody who's potentially dangerous. You do not want to get into a car with somebody who has a viewpoint of a majority chunk of people on this planet, not a majority chunk of people on this planet, but a good chunk of people on this planet should not exist based off of their skin color, right? Like, I know there's a lot of very divisive racial topics and tensions in America, but what about all those people that had nothing to do with the slavery or the slave trade or all the people and races that were just separate out of it? Like, everyone comes in such different flavors and such different colors and textures. Like, the fact that somebody is willing to hate an entire group of people, whether their skin is white, whether their skin is black, whether their skin or their eye color is a certain way, or whether their facial structure is a certain way, is ridiculous. So when I say that you should practice freedom of speech, I need those people to be loud so that way I can identify them as danger, right? I want to be around people who create, who build, who do awesome things. I want to be around people who are loving and caring and supportive and encouraging. I want people who are ambitious and who are so goal-driven that nothing around them distracts them because they are so focused on putting their work first, by making an impact in the world, by doing the things that they love. I think to myself constantly, those who are looking to better themselves, those who are working on projects to sharpen their sword and create masterpieces from their minds into physical realities, I want to be around those people. And you can tell who they are by what they put out there, what they say, what they do. I want to be around more people like that. And if you're like that, please, I highly recommend that you join our Facebook group. Share with us the beauty of what you are working on, any ideas that you have. If you want to help uplift and inspire other people, join our Facebook group, facebook.com/groups/Carpe Natem. Spread some positivity. I'm trying to build a community of people who think like this. And I guess going back to the point that I was trying to make originally was at this award show, Will Smith slapped comedian Chris Rock for a joke that he made about Jada Pinkett Smith. And there's a lot of things here to unpack. First off, I don't believe anyone should be assaulted for what they said. Physical violence does not become justified because somebody used words that you don't agree with or you don't like. Even hate speech. Hate speech can be hate speech all day. doesn't mean that we should take physical violence against this person. Now, if somebody was spewing hate, like at a protest, and was saying terrible, awful things to the people in a crowd, and somebody happened to go up to that person yelling and smacked them across the head or knocked them out by a good 1-2 to the jaw, would I be sad? No. Again, there's no such thing as freedom of consequences. There's only freedom of speech. But that person made it loud and clear that he viewed everyone as an enemy, and he created an enemy who then attacked him, right? Who's in the wrong here? Both people, the person that attacked and the person that said it. In the case of Chris Rock is a comedian. The joke he said was probably the tamest joke I've ever heard about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith. I know it was directed towards Jada Pinkett, but over the last 3 years, that was probably the tamest joke I've heard about Jada Pinkett Smith. So for a grown-ass man that is professionally trained his whole life to be an action star, to then go up and smack the shit out of him because he's defending his wife. Yeah, I get it, dude. I would defend my wife too. I would stand up for her. But in a room full of people where a haha person is the host, where you are all getting awards, the fact that you went up and assaulted somebody because you didn't like what they had to say is ridiculous. You are an absolute goddamn man-child. Are you kidding me? And I get it, man. I've had people say some mean shit about me. I've had people say some mean shit about my wife. Did I ever physically assault anyone for the words that they used against me? Absolutely not, because I know how to control myself. And anyone out there thinking that enacting revenge on somebody because of words they used, how about you go take a nap? Oh, I feel so upset because somebody yelled at me and said that I was a failure. Who the fuck are they? Do they pay your rent? Do they control the thoughts in your brain? Why are you allowing them to live in your head rent-free? And maybe they do pay your rent. Maybe it's your mom that makes you feel like absolute dog shit. But let me tell you this. One thing that you're completely in control of is your reaction to how she treats you and the story you attach to those moments and interactions. Whether you were beat or you weren't, whether you were assaulted or you weren't, whether you were burned or you weren't, it doesn't matter. It just is. Whatever it is, it cannot be changed because it's in the past. Once it's in the past, it's gone. It's in the ether. You can never rewrite history. You can't change back any of the moments. You can't turn back time. So the only thing that you can do is continue forward. Now, moving forward, the thoughts that you have connected to the events that have happened play a vital significance in whether or not you can move to a space of clarity, into a space of peace. It will definitely affect your ability to earn income. It'll definitely affect your ability to make relationships, because some things happen to us that are incredibly traumatic. And when these things happen, the story that we tell ourselves about the situation really does dictate whether or not we move forward gracefully, if we move forward inch by inch, or if we even move forward at all. Some people get stuck in a certain place for a very long time because of the things that they had experienced. And my heart goes out to those people who really do have a really awful, traumatic past. The people that I know who have traumatic pasts have done such amazing things with themselves, despite all of the reasons to not be great, to not be wonderful, to not be the top performer. They work so hard in spite of all that has happened to them. And they are so driven and they are so determined. And it breaks my heart that they had to go through what they did. I also acknowledge the fact that it lit a fire inside them. A fire so strong that it burns with an intensity to improve, to crush, to move forward. It's admirable. It's envious almost to see that type of tenacity in somebody who comes from some place so broken. And if anyone has gone through the same type of situation that you have gone through and has improved their life, then you can too. Anybody who's been through whatever you've been through, and trust me, you are not the only person on the planet to have ever had their heart broken or physically attacked or got into a car accident or lost a leg. I know those things are terrible, and I pray to God it does not happen to anybody listening to this podcast. But just know that if it does, again, you can't change what happens. You can only attach a story to the thoughts that come up when you think about that exact moment. Are they constructive? Are they encouraging? Do they make you want to move to a place that's better than the one that you are in right now? Or are they destructive? Are they critical? Are they demeaning? And they bring you down lower and lower and lower until you feel like you've broken through the floor and now you're in the basement of your mind. What thought would you rather have after you lose your job? It's over. Now I'm going to be homeless. Now I'm not going to be able to afford anything to eat. Or would you rather have the thought of, I've lost my job. What can I do now? What's my next step? How can I make sure that I'm okay? Both thoughts are dealing with the same problem, but the energy behind it is so different. And tragically, I am finding myself talking to more and more people with thoughts that are negative, condescending, that tear people down, that hurt others, that hurt themselves. Ego can be so destructive for others and for yourself. It's almost like holding on to a poison that spills out of you and burns other people, all while it's destroying you from the inside out. So a couple of things I am going to do differently. Still going to have conversations with these people because I love exploring the minds of different people. I feel like I gain better perspective getting to know people who have walked different paths. I feel like there is a genuine learning lesson in everyone that I come across. And maybe I don't agree with everything that the guest on my podcast says. Maybe I don't agree with the values and the action these other people have done. They're still people. I do have faith, and I believe that when people genuinely want to change for the better, they're able to, no matter what age they are, no matter what they have been through, no matter what they have done. No one is outside of the world of redemption. If not in this lifetime, maybe the next lifetime. If I am to believe that I am capable of penance, if I am capable of remorse, if I am capable of becoming better so that I no longer enable myself to act upon the impulses that caused me problems in the past that have hurt others, then I must also extend that grace to others and to other people. And I must believe in my heart that if you are willing to change, if you are willing to be better, if you are willing to do good and do right by the people that you harm, then that there is a possibility that that can happen. Not just for me. This isn't just something that is unique to Nate. This is something that I believe that everyone should have the ability or the opportunity to experience, which is a redemption, a feeling of growth and remorse. And if you are listening to this and you feel like the things that you have done in this life are so unforgivable, just know that the first person you have to seek forgiveness from is yourself. You have to forgive yourself for the things that you did. The people that you hurt, you will never be able to force them to accept your apology. I will never be able to fully repay the people that I have hurt in my life. I did things that I thought would be unforgivable, but it's not. We are humans. This life is very, very long, even though it may feel like it's going by incredibly fast and that time is short. It's not. It's such a long experience. And during those times, we are not perfect. We do things that are toxic and predatory and terrible. I am guilty of those things. They were done at a time where I wasn't okay. So I understand why I did the things that I did, but it doesn't make them okay. What I've learned is that if you are truly remorseful and you feel guilt and shame for the behaviors that you did, then you need to seek penance and redemption. You need to do what you have to do in order to be a better person. You have to change the behaviors that were so terrible and so hurtful. Without true change, then no true redemption can happen. And I know that's pretty loaded, but I'm really trying to work out my thoughts here. I'm coming into contact with people who have a different mindset than me, who talk over me, who want to be right, who want to argue over tiny details, who just are so ego-driven. And I have to work on myself for not responding to their ego with my ego. They're just excited. They're living their life the way they live their life, and I'm living mine the way I'm living mine. So with that said, I'm very grateful for everybody who listens. I'm very grateful for everybody who becomes a guest on this podcast. I am very grateful for anyone who spends any energy towards me in a positive way, in a neutral way. Those sending negative vibes my way doesn't affect me, buddy. I am too secure right now in my own skin for you to hurt me. And what I've come to realize is that if you have some haters in your life, then you're probably doing something really good, because in order to be hated, you have to be doing something in order to cause them to hate you. And sometimes that thing doesn't have to be something bad. Sometimes you could just be crushing it in life for people to absolutely want you gone. Because seeing you thrive, seeing you succeed, seeing you live your best life, they feel that it takes away from theirs. And that's never the truth. The truth is that the world is so abundant. The universe is constantly giving out gifts to people. All you have to do is be willing to receive them, believe that you are deserving of them, and then do your best to make the world around you feel like the world inside you. And if the world inside you feels ugly, then the world outside you will feel ugly. What you want to do is make the inside feel beautiful and amazing and warm and secure. And you'll see how the rest of the world ends up feeling warm, secure, and loving. I am incredibly grateful for anybody willing to go on this journey with me, to help me explore my thoughts in order to get them out of my mind so that I can better understand myself and the world around me. I hope that by hearing me, that you are able to better understand yourself and the world around you. I want to hear what you're going through, what you're struggling with, what thoughts you have on me, what thoughts you have about the podcast, what thoughts you have across all items. Tell me what you think about Will Smith and Chris Rock. I want to know. I want to know how you came to that conclusion. I want to know exactly what you think about all of that. I want to know what wakes you up in the morning. I want to know what makes you excited. I want to see and hear you speak with such passion. And I don't give a fuck if it's about trains or Wu-Tang Clan or knives or butterfly torches or upside down strawberry bundt cakes. I don't care. I want to see passion. I want to see love. I want to see people putting something out there in the world that isn't fucking negative, because I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of people acting a certain way. I'm tired of seeing them just drone on about why the world is so terrible. And I would love to be able to get into their body and see what they're seeing, because every time I open my eyes, I see opportunity, love, I see security, I see comfort, I see joy, I see opportunities to do something impactful and something amazing. And the fact that other people wake up with the opposite feeling of hate, destruction, awfulness just blows my mind. Even in my lowest points, I always thought to myself, like, how can I become better? How can I make my parents proud? How can I get to a place where I can stand and feel like I'm actually accomplishing something? And I'm working my way there. It doesn't matter how many times I fail, how many times I get knocked down, how many times I go into the red in my bank account and lose everything that I have. It doesn't matter. I know where I stand. I know where my worth is, and I know that I'll get it all back and then some. Every time I've failed, I've come back stronger like a goddamn Super Saiyan. And I hope you do too. I hope every time that you fail, you come back and you gain everything back and you gain some more than you originally lost. I want that for you. I want that for all people. I want more good people doing good things in this world. I want to connect with y'all. I want to see y'all doing amazing things, because I'm doing amazing things, and I want you to be here on this journey, and I want you to celebrate with me, because I want to celebrate with you. It makes me think of this meme of Bilbo Baggins with the ring from The Lord of the Rings, and the caption said, "After all, why not? Why shouldn't I believe in myself and work hard for my dream?" You're right, Bilbo. Why shouldn't you? What is stopping you from working hard on your dream, from believing in yourself? Because that's probably the easiest thing to do. It's easier than taking the first step in whatever direction you want to go, is believing that you can. Make sure that the little inner monologue person in your head says, hey, I believe in you. And if he can't say it, or if she can't say it, I'll fucking say it. Hey, person listening to this, I believe in you. I believe that you can do great things, and I believe that you are going to make this world a better place. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of the Carpe Natem Podcast. If you loved this episode, please consider leaving a positive rating and review on Apple Music or iTunes. It takes 30 seconds for you, but for us, it helps spread positivity more people during these chaotic times. It helps build a community, and it makes me smile from ear to ear. Speaking of community, we have a Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Carpe Natem. Just answer the 3 questions to get access to some extra motivation and inspiration for your timeline. If you would like to support the podcast, screenshot this episode, share this to your story, and tag me on Instagram at Carpe Natem 114. That's going to be my handle across all platforms, including TikTok. If you would like to give me a follow, I would definitely appreciate it. If you haven't already, please rate us and subscribe on Spotify or anywhere you enjoy your podcasts. And lastly, you can find all episodes, linked to resources and opportunities for coaching and mentoring from me at carpenatem114.com. I cannot thank you enough for spending part of your day with me. You are all rock stars taking the necessary steps to be your best self, willing to do whatever it takes, and ready to grab life by the butt cheeks. So until next time, this is Nate De La Hoya-Reynoso signing off.